Good morning. We'll call this meeting of the Executive Committee meeting to order. I see, Norm, you're the only one from the public. You got any comments?
I have no comments.
Okay, thank you. We have one action item. Oh, I'll note for the record that Miss Celia Myers is joining us by telephone, and Bob Fagers and I are in person. We have one action item for us today is to consider authorizing the attorney Lawrence Flynn to begin investigating statutory options as discussed at the January 9th, 2025 Ad Hoc Sewer Feasibility Implementation Committee meeting. Chris, I'll turn it over to you for some explanation.
All right, so this, welcome to your first meeting.
I'm sorry I'm late.
Oh, no problem.
I consider not showing up, see what Bob.
So I think this will be fairly quick, but Ms. Myers is on the implementation committee, so she got to hear this firsthand when Lawrence presented it in executive session. But what came out of that was a recommendation. This wasn't anything that was even necessarily in Angie's report as far as exploring statutory changes as an option for this, but following Lawrence's discussion with it, it was determined that in order, I don't know that he went so far as to say that it can't be fully successful without changes made at the legal or lawmaking level, that it would be very difficult to do. So it was decided, by the committee for him to continue working on the reorganization portion of what he was tasked with, but then also to consider looking into potential options for statutory changes. But with that being, I didn't feel that would be something that me as executive director would be authorized necessarily to task us with, since it's really a board-focused governance matter. So Mr. Bronson joined me on a call on Monday afternoon with Lawrence. I'll let him state what he feels about it, if anything, but I think that we were all on board with authorizing Lawrence to begin pursuing research and making those recommendations for potential modifications to state statute. And I don't think it's one, I think you can look at as many options as there may be, and that at that point we will bring that to the board, possibly hopefully by the February 3rd meeting, with some recommended courses of action that the board would then direct or give authorization to or direct to at that time to proceed.
Yeah, and so Bob, Celia, on the call with Lawrence, some of this was Chris and Lawrence didn't feel comfortable proceeding without direction from the board. So part of what we talked about was bringing the executive committee together and authorizing Lawrence to go ahead and begin the work. And then at the next board meeting, if for some reason the full board doesn't want Lawrence to do that work, we'll have him put the brakes on and rediscuss it or discuss it again. But this lets us now get a couple of weeks, give him a couple of weeks to get going on it, so that I guess my concern was that we don't lose any time at the end of this process with the ad hoc committee, so they don't end up having to wait on the board to be able to pull something together. We've authorized Lawrence to go do it. I agree with what I've heard. I read the minutes, I read Lawrence's memo, that I think right now this is the best course of action. We let Lawrence do a little bit more research. If there's another course we can take, he'll present those to the full board of options. So as the executive committee, what we're looking to do is, in essence, and Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, we're sending Lawrence out to go ahead and get started. We'll reaffirm it at our next board meeting in February, that we did this as the executive committee and discuss it with the board. So if anybody has any concerns on the board, we can address it.
That's correct. With time being of the essence with the legislative schedule and session, we felt we needed to go ahead and move the call to try to get, we knew we wouldn't be able to get 9 commissioners to come
seems very straightforward, and I'll just go ahead and make that motion that we proceed.
I'll second.
Very good. All in favor, or any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 No opposed? Motion carries. Chris, you have anything else you want to talk about with the upcoming meetings?
I don't, I do have just one other thing, and this is, for the sake of Norm, and really the public in general. So with that memo, it was presented to, this is talking about Lawrence's memo. It was presented to the ad hoc committee. I guess you got 3 commissioners on there, plus myself, that were, privy to that information in our capacity as, with the sewer authority. But you also had, what would that be, 6 members on there, plus Angie Metland and Catherine Amadon, that had access to the memo, but this has not been made as a public document. After reading the memorandum, I don't know that there's anything in there that shouldn't be made public, and all of the input that I've received from the commissioners, they want to make this as transparent and as open as possible. So I will be asking the board and it'll be an agenda item for the board to consider making that a public document so that the press does have access to it as well as the public. So I just wanted to let everybody know about that. So be thinking about it. If for some reason you may not want to go that direction, just let me know then. But
Well, I hope we do. I think there's a lot that Norm and Andrea and Caleb write at the newspaper, even Dick reports on the radio. Having that memo will help inform their reporting, which I rely on that for folks to know what's going on with the sewer authority. That I think it would be good to let it go as long as you and Lawrence are comfortable with that. But that's my opinion. We'll certainly take it up with the full board and see how they feel.
and the reason, and again, it's been clearly stated by several of the commissioners, they wanted as much of it to be in the open as possible. The reason that Lawrence Flynn had to present that, he requested to present that in executive session, was because he felt that if he were to have presented that, the memo and or his presentation in the open would have violated attorney-client privilege, and he felt that the board would need to be the one by vote to allow him to have done that. And so that's why that his portion of it was discussed the way that it was in session. He asked to have it done that way.
All right, sounds good. Celia, anything else for the good of the group?
I have nothing, just enjoy your day.
Okay, Bob, anything else?
No, I echo those sentiments exactly.
All right, well, without objection, we'll stand adjourned.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Chair. Thank you, Celia.
Thank you, Celia. Have a good day.